This workout went really well. This is the final workout before I back off next week. This is the final day of my peaking. 250 for 5 sets of 5. Seemed like it would be pretty easy for me. Well, I mean, not pretty easy, but definitely doable. And it was. There wasn't much issue with doing it. The only thing I really kind of noticed going through my sets is that my outside of my calves, on both sides of my legs, were starting to get a little strained by the end. And I think that came as a result of me maybe getting a little tired during the sets and then not using my hips as much. I really started feeling it during the third and fourth sets of this. So once I kind of get to that point, I'll kind of see what I was doing and feeling. I haven't watched this yet, so I'm not sure what it looked like, but in the moment, that's kind of what it felt like. And then going into the fifth set, I really focused on making sure I was using my hips, and that really kind of changed things going forward. These look pretty good though. Very good form. My legs are not buckling or anything, which is something I was also concerned about that might be an issue. My hips are getting good activation, and my back is staying flat. That was something that I used to have difficulty with way back in the day, especially when I was getting up towards these heavier weights. But now it's pretty much a non-issue, which is very nice. I've really worked to kind of get the form down. So this is the set where I started to feel that discomfort in my right or in my calves on the exterior sides. And looking at it, I really am not seeing what would have caused it. But at least, well, that would have been it. So that was really not so much using the hips and just kind of muscling the weight up a little bit, which you know I can do. It's not super heavy for me, and I can kind of cheat the weight up. But that's the consequence of doing that is that when you have poor form like that, you start feeling discomfort or sometimes even a little bit of pain in the reps as you're going through because you're not doing it the right way. And then this set, I felt the same thing, but was able to start getting an idea of what was causing it. That's what was that pause between the fourth or third and fourth rep right there, and then confirmation on that fifth rep of okay, I wasn't rotating my hips. I remember that specifically because the fourth and fifth reps, once I focused on rotating the hips, it was gone. So it's a little tendency that kind of crosses up sometimes if I get a little lazy, especially with going on higher weights where I'm trying to really kind of just muscle the weight up. Especially since at lower weights where I just don't even really feel a lot of resistance for it anymore because I've gotten so used to just doing weight that low for me. And one thing too that I really focused on during these, especially because it was heavier and I was making sure that I was using my hips, was that I wasn't cheating the lockout. So my hips were strong and pulled through at the end of each rep, and I wasn't just kind of cheating into the end of it. Um, but everything moved fairly well. I really liked how that felt in the end, and I'm really happy with it. Going down to bench, I was a little concerned, just because the 155 was a little difficult, but it wasn't like anything that I couldn't accomplish. The only other thing that kind of gave me a little pause was that my calves were a little kind of sore from the squats, just from the position they were in for that long, and I was worried that I had difficulty getting proper uh, leg drive when doing the reps, but looks fine to me. I know I felt it a little bit during the warm ups, and that kind of gave me a little pause for concern, but everything came out all right. One thing that also kind of gave me a little pause was that I had that difficulty with the overhead press on Thursday and was concerned that it would kind of go into the same. But again, I've done more on bench, and this felt comfortable on the first set, and so I just figured keep going. I'm not gonna give in and change the rest periods. Between bench, I just do 90 seconds between each set, and once that's up, just hop right back to it and keep going. But it was nice. I felt really strong. I maintained my wider grip that I've been working on, and felt really good chest activation. I felt nice and strong, and I can definitely do more. But maybe backing down to 145, I believe, is going to be on Thursday of next week. and then working my way up to 170 at the end of this next cycle that I'm going to be going through. I think with overhead press, I've decided I am going to proceed up, but if I hit 110 and stall out, I'm going to keep at 110 until I get through it, which could be, the final time I do it. Theoretically, if I were able to clear it this time, I'll be able to finish the next cycle at 120 on the month. But if it's 115 or it ends up 110 and I finish it, then so be it. And if I end up not finishing 110, I will do that cycle again, just because being at or around that weight is going to help make it stronger. If I keep backing down to 95, um, and then, or not 95, 90, and failing at that, um, when I get to the 110, that's really not going to do much for me in terms of being able to progress, because I'll be getting such a lower weight. Being able to fight that full weight of it multiple times is generally what helps get me through it. But with the bench, it's much different. I'm very happy with how it went, and it just felt nice, felt good and strong. And moving into the block pulls next, these were at 365, which is the heaviest I've ever done for reps on a block pull, especially in a set of five. And it didn't feel like much. I was a little skeptical with this, especially just because I know what my limits are on deadlifting, and I know kind of where they're at. And this is towards that upper limit, or at least it has been historically. And it went well. There were really not many points to where I thought, oh my god, I can't get out this next rep. There weren't really any of those at all, and I've definitely felt that before doing this. And I really made sure to get, again, to kind of be careful with trying to avoid some touch and goes. And I realized I felt that going to that second and third rep, so I gave it a little bit longer between the third, fourth, and fifth, so I could finish things out properly. Second set, much of the same. Everything moved very, very well. I'm just very happy with how things are going. Again, the straps are purely because I'm not concerned about training grip when doing this exercise. This is this is generally only for training my hips, because historically the lockout for me has been the weakest part of my deadlift, and I want to target that and make it stronger so I don't have to worry about it. And once I get consistent with lockout and I feel that it's outclassing my ability to get the bar off the floor, by a wide margin, then I'll probably swap out these block pulls for deficit deadlifts, using that box that's actually on the wall to my right. And I kind of play around with it here and there, and I have fun with those. But it's just not like a primary focus for me when I'm working out. But for now, again, I'm just wanting to get the block pulls down. I think if I get to a point where I can pull uh, somewhere between 400 and 440 consistently on block pulls, I'm going to switch over to uh, working on the deficit deadlifts, just because that is going to start benefiting me more with another area that is going to become a little deficient, just because the only way that the beginning of the reps are being trained for me is just by doing conventional deadlifts. And there's going to be a point to where that's going to start lagging behind. I'm going to have difficulty just breaking the weights off the ground. Um, Even though my hips can get it at the end, I can't get it to start. And I am going to see that at some point. I haven't yet. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I'm prepared for when it does. But with these, I'm very happy with how they went. Um, it'll be very nice when I can hit a 500-pound block pull again. I've done it twice, I believe, and it felt very nice. And that was at a very strong phase for me about a year ago in April or May, right before I tore my shoulder, and I felt like I was on track to pull 500 pounds on just a regular conventional deadlift, and ultimately didn't end up happening because of that tear and making me take 4 months off of training in any form, just because of the recovery process from that, and then subsequently developing vertigo during that period too, and I just did not feel comfortable with weight on my back or in my hands or anything because I just wasn't stable. But this went very well. I tripped on my my curl bar at that point, and I kept thinking the whole time like, oh my god, now my foot's like stinging, and I don't want to fall over on this rep. But outside of that, this all moved very well. Everything's going to deload next week. The squats are going to go down, um, a little bit, and I'm going to be aiming for 270 at the end of this month. My bench press is going to be aiming at 170. Overhead press aiming at 120. Conventional deadlifts are going to be shooting for 300. The trap bar deadlifts are going to be aiming at 320, and the block pulls will be aiming at 380. And I think that's all certainly doable, but I am going to be getting to a point soon where I'm going to be hitting a wall with some of these numbers, and so the training will kind of slow down a little bit. But I want to hit that. I want to find out what my maximum is, and I'm not there yet, but I'm going to be, and I'm looking forward to when I hit that point. It should be a lot of fun.